Hey guys, it's Amanda, and today we are going to talk about a book, and that book is Allegiant by Veronica Roth. Now, I'm sure many of you have read this. I'm sure many of you have read the series, but as a quick, discretionary advice here, if you have not read the series, then please, please, please do yourself a favor, click pause, go read them, and come back. Well, you know, you know what I mean. You don't really need to pause it because it might be a little while before you to finish all three books, but you catch my drift, right? Anyways, one thing, I apologize about the glare already, but it is so blessedly weird in this living room to get good lighting, so I'm working with the sun, and that's pretty much all I got. So, so let's just dive right in because I finished this book a week ago, and it has honestly taken me that long to get my thoughts together enough, stop, I mean, let's face it, mourning over, what happened in the book, enough where I could sit here and I could actually, get a video done to you guys. So let's talk about the outside world. After I read Insurgent, and that video comes up and where Natalie Pryor talks about what had happened, and then she says that there is much that she would like to forget, I took that as like something big was going to be outside that fence. And then, as I'm reading, I'm getting really excited. They're going towards the fence, and all they find is a government center. I knew about the gene testing. I knew about the experiments. I figured that was part of the book, but I was waiting for something a little bit more exciting to happen, and I think out of the whole book, I was disappointed in that the most. The fact that what lied over the fence was not as thrilling as I had hoped it would be. I mean, you could have added I don't know, a zombie or two. Maybe not. That's just me. So yeah, the outside world, I have to feel and say that it was a little bit disappointing for me. I wish there was some kind of, just something more than the genetic testing and the fact that, the government was trying to, perfect the people so that they could become a better world, and so on and so forth. So yeah, I honestly don't have much to say about that. But so that part of the book was very, very slow for me. And the whole damaged genes versus the pure genes, I didn't really like that. I felt like that was complete and utter, not discrimination really, but I don't want to use discrimination because I don't feel like they really cared about discrimination. I feel like they, if you were genetically damaged, they said you're genetically damaged, and if you were genetically pure, that's another thing. But it got very confusing, especially with the DP and the DG. Like, sometimes I would have to stop what I was looking at, and I'm like, okay, what are we talking about? Are we talking about genetically pure, or are we talking about genetically damaged? Because it got a little confusing in there, and I was like, wait a second, this doesn't make sense. So that got a little confusing as well. And I don't think, calling someone genetically damaged, that's pretty harsh if you ask me, but I don't know. I'm not the author. I'm just sharing my thoughts here. So, speaking along the lines of genetically damaged, 4 finds out that he is not divergent by their standards, and he all of a sudden becomes very angry, very frustrated, and very disappointed, which, I gotta hand it to the guy. I would be disappointed too if I spent the majority of my time, in my faction thinking I was one thing, and then, some person tells me I'm not, and if I was divergent and I owned my divergentism, I would feel the same way. However, that being said, I would not have reacted to my non-divergentness like 4 did. I feel like he became very irritating and very whiny, and, someone who was such a strong character in the first and second books, became such, like, a whine bag. He got very irritating to me, and I found myself thinking, okay, when are we going to get to Triss? I really wanted to get to Triss. So now, my girl Triss, she's in there doing her thing, trying to figure out stuff, and then, 4's all upset about the fact that he's not divergent anymore, and she's like, hey, it's okay. You're still cool, you're still awesome, and despite the fact that they labeled you non-divergent, you can still have powers. Like you're still resilient to the serums and stuff. So really, what difference does it actually make? So, I really didn't understand that part either, and that kind of got really annoying to me. Then let's talk about the two perspectives in this book. So, dual point of views, I usually do okay with them, but this book I did not like them. Because four interests were, in the same place, kind of doing the same stuff, it got very, very, very confusing of who was talking, and I had to literally go back to the beginning of the chapter sometimes to be like, okay, who is this? Who is this talking? Is this Ford? Is it Tris? Because I don't know. They really sound alike. So that was a little tough for me to get through because they had a very similar sound to them, and I couldn't quite, make out who I was talking to. Not talking to. Why was I talking to characters? I wasn't talking to characters. Who I was reading. And so that was a little tough for me as well. So if I was the author, which I'm not, but if I was the author of this series, I don't think I would have done the dual perspectives, the dual point of views, because that, I feel like a lot of people feel the same way on that too. So anyways, enough about that. So, which brings me to the main thing that happens in this book, which is Tris dies. Now, when I finished this book last Wednesday, it took me about an hour and a half to stop crying. And for a book to make me cry, but, on the verge of hysterically sobbing, I have to give Veronica Roth a very big round of applause because that does not happen for me. And because it did, I both want to punch her in the face and hug her at the same time. So Tris dies. So she's in there. She survived the freaking death serum. And then all of a sudden, here's David in his freaking wheelchair. And he's like, what are you doing in here? And at that point, okay, first of all, let's backtrack to the fact that Caleb was supposed to be the one doing this and he wasn't. Now, I understand that Caleb, did what he did, but I'm trying to think, because I have a brother too. Would I want him to die in place for me like that? No, absolutely not. Even if he did the same things to me he did to Tris, I still would feel something for his death for doing that. And I probably would have done the same thing Tris did. However, I hate the fact that Tris died. I hate the way she died. And I know that she saved the factions by, initiating the serum so that she could wipe everyone's memory. But I still believe, that there could have been a better way to die than being shot twice. And, when I'm reading this section and I'm reading and then, like she sees her mom and she sees, the bullet wounds and stuff, and, for 9 seconds, I thought maybe that her mom was alive and she was there because, Amar was alive and he actually wasn't dead. So I'm thinking, oh my gosh, her mom's alive, everyone's alive, nobody's dead. And then, lo and behold, I read the fact that she sees her mother's gunshot wounds, and I'm like, she dies! And then cue the tears, the nasty, ugly tears that came with that realization that Tris Pryor died. Congratulations to her, because she went in, the most badass way. But, you just don't kill her. And I think it's because I don't read many books that, the main character dies. So I'm really not used to that kind of emotion. So this was I'm just I was completely shattered. Done for a few days. I would wake up in the morning and I'd be like, oh, it's a beautiful day. Boom! Tris dies. And I'm like, wow, this sucks. Like, never in my life have I mourned for a character more than I mourned for this girl. I mean, she was my friend. She was my friend. And she died. I can't. So, overall, what would I give this book? I would give it a 5 out of 5 stars. It was epic. I mean, like I said, if you haven't read this series and you are still watching this, shame on you. But if you are, like, this series was it was captivating, it was enthralling, it was thrilling, it was a roller coaster ride of emotions. It was great, and I totally recommend it to everyone out there, no matter, what books you like to read. That's how good they were. So yeah, I would give it a 5 out of 5. It wasn't as epic as I thought it was going to be, but it still was, everything it needed to be. And that's something I really appreciate. So, anywho, thanks for watching, guys. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And as always, feel free to subscribe so you know when I'm the first. No, so you know when. So you know. What do you know? So you're the first to know. Yes, so you're the first to know when I have a new video coming up. Anyways, toodaloo!